Hi there, Tarot people. Welcome to the card of the day here. So we have the Lovers card. Wow, this is a card that brings joy to most people's hearts when it comes up in the tarot deck. We're going to look at the deeper message behind this card, of course, not just staying on the superficial way of translating this card, which can be that love's coming into our life. Yeah, it may do, but there's a roundabout way that it's going to come into your life. And the real story here, or the real spiritual message that the lovers talk about, is quite an important one. So if you have a look, there's a lot going on in the card. There's two naked figures, there's this fiery tree behind the man, and then there seems to be like the tree of knowledge with a snake and apples coming down of it behind the woman. There's a big volcano or mountain in between the two of them. There's this angelic, which is the archangel Raphael, and a sun above them both. And they're both naked. The man is looking towards the woman, and the woman is looking towards the angel. And this symbolism is the key message to this card. So the masculine represents our conscious mind. It's the part of us that's awake in the world, part of us that's outwardly focused, and that part of our awareness or our consciousness that we think is our waking self. The subconscious is that in the feminine, which is represented in this card, and these are archetypal symbolisms in the world, and that's why these two figures of masculine and feminine in all of the tarot deck. This is what they represent. This is part of what they represent. So the masculine is very giving and outward going, and the feminine is very receiving and inward going. It's the subconscious self. It's the part of us which is connected to our programs and our conditioning and our feelings and our emotions and all those things that take place below the surface of our awareness. And the feminine represents all of that which is hidden. It's a huge amount of imagination and creativity. And the key story is the subconscious is much more easily connected to this angelic figure, which is the spiritual guidance, the super consciousness, the intuition, that ability to receive inspiration and higher thoughts and higher intentions and higher wisdom from above, from within, but above. And the way we find this wisdom or this connection to divine spirit is through our subconscious, and this is a journey. We take our mind, our conscious mind, into our subconscious, and we need to embrace all of the stories that are there in order for the subconscious to really be able to pick up on and grasp higher guidance and to channel that higher wisdom from within. So this is the dynamic of this card, and this is the bigger message of this card, that once you make that inner connection, once you make that marriage between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind, once you are not afraid to go within and you actually practice going within and looking within and having this inner communication that takes place when you do that, you are able to tap into and channel higher guidance and higher wisdom. If you don't want to go inside, if all of your focus is on the outside world and none of it is on the inside world, you'll find that this Lover's card will not be not come up for you. It's not going to be very present in your life. The Lover's card is about this deep inner connection, which is like a sacred marriage. This is the inner marriage between the masculine and the feminine. When we become one, when we actually make conscious that which is subconscious or unconscious. So we actually start to become aware of what we normally have not been aware of. This inner marriage is what allows the freedom for higher guidance to come through. We may have to, and this mountain in many traditional sort of ways they translate it is, it's a volcano of eruption, and it's a phallic symbol of sexuality. Yeah, maybe on one front, but on another front, this mountain represents that high level of awareness that we have to climb up to and take our mind out of the lower mundane awareness to a higher mundane awareness in order to reach the feminine. In order to get to the feminine, we have to abstract our mind or take our mind out of its normal way of thinking and go a little bit deeper. And that's what this mountain represents as well. So we need to pull ourselves out of our normal way of thinking, choose to go and have a look at what we normally don't want to, take time out to really communicate with ourselves. This is a fantastic time to journal. This is a fantastic time to write to yourself and have an inner communication. This is how I see this card, or how I practice this card. It's just by me getting out a pen and paper and asking myself questions and listening to the answers that come, and then just do some automatic writing and see what comes out, and then ask myself some more questions based on what I've just been writing about, and just carry on this inner dialogue. And you can discover so many different stories about what's going on in your life, and you can really receive some guidance. So this is this classic dynamic of the masculine holding space for the feminine, so that the feminine subconscious, where there's all this creative wildness going on, can just be wild, be herself, express herself crazily, and become tapped into, tuned into. As we welcome and embrace all of that wildness, we actually bring in much more into our life, and we actually are able to channel down a greater level of guidance once these two inner dynamics, these polar dynamics of masculine and feminine, are really in harmony, because that harmony is what allows this higher guidance to come through. So the nakedness of the figures shows that in order to do this, we need to be completely honest and vulnerable. We need to be brutally clear and true to ourselves. We need to practice integrity, and this is when we get in contact with our core values, and we get on contact with those deeper intentions that we have in our life, and people will come into our life and mirror exactly what we're doing. If we're practicing this and we're getting, we're experiencing a higher level of honest self-honesty and inner communication, this is us practicing self-love. We are choosing to go inside and look at that stuff we didn't normally look at, and embrace it, love it, accept it, open your arms to it. This is you opening your arms to your programs, your conditioning. They might be negative habits, but so what? Open your arms to them, love them. This is a practice of self-love, and that practice of self-love will attract somebody else in the world to come into our life and love all those things that we are choosing to love as well, and maybe accept us on a deeper level, and we can have that external mirror, that external intimacy that we may all be seeking, but it will come from the source of, or a base of, inner intimacy that we are practicing in our daily life. And that's part of the deeper message of this card. So get your books out and journal today, or maybe just sit and have an interesting conversation. It's great to write because it slows your mind down, and at the same time it clarifies your thoughts, and it makes you read and see things that are taking place, and you can have a much deeper, more beautiful conversation with yourself. Maybe I'll practice that today. I hope you have a fantastic day full of love and lovers. And if you have a lover already, wow, just practice a little bit more vulnerability and a little bit more depth in your relationship, and see if you can't communicate on a deeper, honest level. Have a great day.